All right, welcome everyone to City Council meeting for Monday, December 9th, 2024. If we can have a roll call, Madam Clerk, to establish quorum.
Terry McClung,
I'm here.
Harry Meyer,
Here.
David Avanzino,
Here.
Autumn Slane,
Here.
Steve Holofield,
Here.
Susan Gruning.
Here.
All right, stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, anybody have anything to add, delete?
I would like to add Eureka Springs Hospital.
We're going to have a report on the hospital.
Are we? Okay.
It's under the, yeah,
It's on the agenda?
it's on the agenda. It's a report from the hospital under the commission reports.
Okay.
All right. Anyone else? Get a motion to, all those in favor of approving the agenda as submitted, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? So moved. Get a motion to approve the minutes for November 11th.
I move we approve the minutes for November 11th City Council meeting.
Second.
All right. Mr. Holyfield made a motion and Mr. Almazzino seconded to approve the minutes. Any additions, corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We do have some vacancies on our commissions. We got a vacancy on the Planning Commission. We got a vacancy on the Hospital Commission. And then we got a, I'm going to go through this before we get into the report from the Hospital Commission. Nomination for Ken Trimble for Parks. Can I get a motion to
I'd make a motion we approve Ken Trimble for Parks Commission.
get a
Second.
second?
Second.
Yes.
Is he a new person or
Ken Trimble, he's to be new, yes.
he's on there now?
No, he's new. So, all right. All in favor of Ken, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So,
No. I don't know who he is, so
oh, I'm sorry.
I'm not going to vote for him.
Did we get an application for him?
Tonight.
Actually, I
Oh, tonight.
probably
Gotcha.
should just have nominated him instead of voting on him. I'm going to go ahead, and if y'all don't mind, we'll just redo that vote and wait until next time and put him on the commission at that point, if that's okay with the commission. Let Steve get in contact with him. Talk
Sure, that's fine.
and anyone
Local guy.
else too. So,
Look,
all right. At this time, I'd like to go ahead and have Kent Turner, chairperson of the Hospital Commission, come up and give a report on status and what's going on. And
I am not necessarily anxious to give this report, but I will tell you that I'm a whole lot better today than I was 3 weeks ago. It has been a tumultuous period of time at the hospital for us in the last month and a half. Actually, it's been longer than that. The best way I can explain it is it appears that we kind of lost our focus. And the good news about that is we had something occur that showed us that we had lost our focus. Simultaneous, we did have some terminations at the hospital. Simultaneous with that, we had a report and an inspection come from the Department of Health Services. We had this same report done in May of this year, and we only had minor variances. The report that we just had in November was pretty dramatic. The best way I can describe it to you, and I said this to the commissioners, I sat in on the exit conference with the Department of Health Services, and they said, it appears to me that nothing has been done since May. Not only, and they meant that in all levels of the hospital. Now they look at the clinical side. That's on the clinical side. We had charting problems. We had cart problems, meaning restocking of carts. We had drug carts left open. We had and this is when the Department of Health was there to see this, we had a significant amount of issues. They gave us a report on November 26th, and we had 10 business days to respond to that report. We have done that. We did that on Friday. We've given them a full plan of correction, and we believe it's a solid plan of correction. We have until they will come back and visit us sometime between now and December 22nd to make sure that what we've said we're going to do, we have done. And we think we're in a very, very, very good position right now. We have reinstituted policies that had just been policies and procedures that had just been ignored, that weren't being done, weren't being carried out. As chair, I take responsibility for that. Sometimes, I guess, when you're on a commission, you think that you've hired the right people to do the job, and this was not the case. This was clearly not the case. We have had numerous workshops in the last 30 days to change that scenario. So I'll just give you an example. We have med staff meetings on a quarterly basis. We have weekly directors meetings. We have quality assurance and process improvements quarterly meetings. We have finance and IT weekly meetings, and we have weekly clinical meetings. At every one of those meetings, there will be a commissioner in attendance. At every one of those. That's from here on out. Those will correspond with the policies that we've put together to, in fact, make sure, or the policies we're in the process of putting together. We're meeting again on Wednesday of this week on a workshop to actually write the quality assurance and process improvement program. We're getting some real help from the Rural Emergency Hospital Association, which is a group that does nothing but help hospitals our size, our rural emergency hospitals, meet the standards that they're supposed to meet. I can say I'm sorry, that doesn't mean anything. I can tell you this, that at this point, we are not looking at termination of the hospital, closing of the hospital. I wouldn't have said that a week ago because we had some significant issues in our lab that we had to address. Those are addressed. Our lab was closed for 2 weeks. It reopened today, and it's fully staffed again. And so consequently, that was probably the most serious item that we confronted. The commission has taken a different view on what our responsibilities are, and we have to take we believe we have to take a more active view from the day-to-day operations of the hospital. At least until we build our staff back up to people where we believe that they are in fact doing what they're supposed to be doing. That said, in my opinion, you can never get it to a situation where you assume that that's the case anymore. And I believe all the commissioners are on board with that. We have a whole group of different committees that we've established now. We have a physicians committee, which Dave Carlisle he's the liaison for the physicians committee. He will be working with our physicians on an ongoing basis, Commissioner Carlisle. We have a clinical committee. Kate Dreyer, who is an RN, will be working. She's actually working right now almost on a daily basis with the clinical staff to make sure that we get things back in a condition that they need to be in. I feel comfortable that we're going to get through this. And to be honest with you, we have gotten positive remarks from the Department of Health telling us that they want to get us through this. So they have been very, very helpful in getting our laboratory back up and running. And we have a consultant that's actually running our laboratory right now that's here from Joplin. She does this on an ongoing basis. She actually fixes labs, and she's quite a dynamic lady. She's done a great job. But we have come through some hard times, and I'm not going to deny that. I think we've turned the corner. The report, we believe we had our attorney out of Little Rock come in and help us draft the final plan of correction. He actually was here and helped us draft that to make sure that we met all of the legal standards that we were supposed to meet in getting that done. He was here all day last Friday, helping us put the final draft together. With that, I'm happy to answer any of your questions. Those of you who know me, I'm honest. I'll answer anything that you need me to answer that I can.
Ms. Slane?
Politely, how did the wheels fall off so badly?
And there's no reason to be politely. We thought we had some people in positions that were doing their job. Clearly, some of that was not the case. I don't want to go into the detail of that because I don't talk about personnel matters. But clearly, that was not the case. When you have the leader of the Department of Health team that's on the ground tell you that it doesn't look like anything has been done, and I don't mean turning on and off the lights, I mean detailed clinical work had not been being done since May. That gives you an indication of where the problem was.
Are there any more of the people still left at the hospital that were doing the things that we've heard about?
There could be, and we're actually monitoring that very, very, very closely.
And what does that mean as far as like the commission level? I mean, are you guys in there?
Yes.
And furthermore, that's also concerning because the last time you guys were in there, it was an overreach of commission and HIPAA violation by even those people being in there.
Well, our attorney's telling us that the commissioners being in there as a part of their oversight is not a HIPAA violation, okay? We checked that. There's a lot of people saying a lot of different things, but I try not to play this in the press. Our attorney assures us that if we're in there as part of the commission, the hospital commission is literally responsible for the operation of the hospital. They're saying that if we need to see a record, and we don't go in and look at records, but if we needed to see a record to determine whether or not things are being done the way they're supposed to be being done, that's not a HIPAA violation.
Okay.
How long has the lab been shut down?
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yes, 2 weeks.
How did the lab get shut down?
The person that was running the lab had given notice, but she cut her notice off sooner than she had told us she was going to. So consequently,
It's obvious due to personnel problem
it is, yes.
that could have probably been repaired months ago.
I'm not sure that I agree with that.
Hey, would you please hold your clapping down? We're trying to have a discussion, please.
I understand what you're saying, and I take responsibility for that. You know, I think all of the commissioners take responsibility for that. But it's without going into too much detail, there were things that unless you had somebody that was in looking at different departments would never have known that they were occurring. And that's what we're doing now. We're actually looking department by department. The Department of Health did it for us. They actually went in and looked department by department.
Ms. Gurney?
So you mentioned that a lot of this was clinical, and I agree with Harry. A lot of this happened because it came to us at the last meeting how many employees are unhappy, how many employees felt sabotaged, how many employees felt like they were not able to do their job. There were a lot of people that spoke for a small hospital, and that is very concerning to us as a commission. So I hear what you're saying about the clinical side, maybe the stats, but we need the right people in the right places, and they need to feel trusted that they're doing their job and somebody's not coming in trying to tell them what to do, even if it's not the right thing to do. So how will you bring employees back that were there, that deserve to be back there? And if so, even if it's a new employee, how will they feel trusted? Because this is the hot topic of the town. How will they feel trusted to be able to do their job and you're not just putting a warm body in? There's always how it looks from the top down, but there's coaching up. And these employees did not feel like they could even say anything without any ramification back to them.
Yes, I understand that, and that's why the commission has taken an active role on all these the different types of weekly meetings, so that we're actually there and listening to the issues that are being brought up.
So do you feel like there's a lot of validity to what a lot of these employees are saying?
There was some validity, yes. There's always some validity to everything that everybody's saying, but I'm also saying that things weren't always the way they appeared, okay?
Well, I'm
And
saying you had a lot of people leave.
You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. But you know, again, I don't want to go into personnel issues, but it's something that I think the commission itself has to watch very, very closely to make sure that it doesn't happen again. And we now have a new director of nursing. She's a very dynamic lady. We have the new lab people. They're taking a very different attitude on how we do things.
And what about some of the people that have been either quit or let go? Do they have an opportunity to come back under this new environment?
I wouldn't say no to that, okay? But there again, they need to go through the process.
Okay.
Okay? Yes.
Mr. Valenzino?
Yeah, I'm going to, you know, it's no secret that the integrity and public confidence of the commission and the hospital staff is in jeopardy. It looks like crap. And it's up to this commission to fix it, and very quickly. I don't think you can fix it with the current staff in place. You've had the majority of these employees that are either still there or have been terminated or that left, you know, at will, telling you that the current administration is not working, and they feel intimidated, and they feel that they are consistently and constantly under fire from administration. So you all need to take a look from the top down, not start eliminating from the bottom up.
Mr. Holyfield?
Well, since this started, there seemed to be a lot of this side against that side, this personality against that personality. When it comes to who likes who doesn't like who, it's hard to tell what's really going on. So I was really looking forward to this Department of Health report. Is there any way of publicizing that so we see what the actual facts are, what the Department of Health found, saying this wasn't being done, this wasn't being done, this was an issue, this is a violation, instead of saying, well, we don't think this person was fair or not fair, or I didn't like this person, or, you know, it got very complicated, and, you know.
Here it is right here. I've been very open with that. Anybody, I think it's actually been FOIA'd, so I think it's already out.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. Can it posted somewhere or something
Did you not receive a copy?
No.
I thought I'd sent any of the commissioners
I got one.
receive a copy? No.
I don't think I did.
Of all the issues from Department of
Yeah.
Health? Yeah, I got it.
Mr. Valenzino,
I think you sent it last week, didn't you?
Yes, I sent it last week.
I got it.
okay, that's funny because, okay, 2 of the commissioners got it. So check your email because I sent it out, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. But I think getting that out to the public, that they see the black and white facts of what the Department of Health is saying. You know, when you get into personalities and someone doesn't like someone, you know, or maybe, you know, it gets very complicated and confusing. I'd like to see what the facts are.
So I'm certainly willing to do that because, as I say, I thought it was out already because it was FOIA'd. So
I watched all the hospital meetings, and they're the most tamest, uneventful events you'd ever see. You know, I couldn't tell anything was going on until it all blew up, you know, and stuff. And that's scary to think that this can go on and just seem to be fine and normal, and then all of a sudden, bam.
You're absolutely right. We had some internal conflicts that blew up all of a sudden.
Right.
So I'm not sure it blew up all of a sudden. It just wasn't brought to anybody's attention. Something like that, I don't feel blows up all of a sudden. So I don't know, Mayor, like, I hear what Ken is saying, but as a commission, what do we have? Like, Can we request things? We're expressing our concerns, but what does that mean?
I think
I think it's difficult, sorry, Steve. I think it's difficult for us to fully grasp what is happening because we're getting essentially one side of the story. We don't have the commission's side of the story. So it's very difficult for us to make comment or a judgment or anything because we don't know. I don't even know if we're allowed to know because it's personnel issues.
The commission did just complete your report, finish that you're sending back to the state
That's correct.
recently.
That's correct, and it was FOIA'd this morning, too, so it's...
All right, I haven't gotten a copy of that yet, but I'll get that and I'll send that back to you because what I sent out earlier was just a report from the state. This is going to be their response.
Okay.
So does that report, is that just statistics and clinical, or I guess where are we going to get the confidence that employees are going to feel like this is the best place to work?
Mr. McClung?
I'm curious as to what we have to really say about it as far as, I mean, I think we do in the overall picture where we could pull the plug on it. But as far as operations and things like that, I'd like to hear from the city attorney. I mean, it's good that we hear both sides and hear what's going on and be informed, but I don't think we're any part of that decision process. But that's, the city attorney needs to address that, I would think.
Mr. City Attorney?
What are you asking?
I'm asking that the city council, in regards to the hospital commission, we don't control their operation. They control the hospital, we don't. We are the governing bodies for the city, and if we see fit to close the hospital, I suppose that would be our choice to do that. But as far as operation of the hospital, we have nothing to do with that, correct?
The hospital commission runs the hospital.
That's right. So all we're doing here, this is for informational purposes for us only. We're not a deciding body on any of the things that are going on at the hospital at this time.
That's my understanding, yes.
Mr. Myers?
We do have the power to remove commissioners. If 4 members of the council vote to remove a commissioner, we can do that. And if you take full responsibility, I'd like to see your resignation, to be honest. This has gone on for months and months. Somehow or another, the administration has got away with murder. I mean, it's like Mr. Avanzino said, it starts at the top. It starts with you, and then it goes down to the administration. These people, it's not the nurses, it's not the people that work in the lab. No, it's not them. It's the top that create that sort of thing. Will you resign?
Sure. I'll resign.
Ms. Swain?
Without giving too many details, obviously, of who is still there, but who is in charge of your HR? Do you have somebody still?
Yes.
And it's still the same person that
Yes.
everybody's had issues with?
Been there for 33 years.
I just think that's so concerning because HR is your protection. HR is your protection, and their protection and your protection.
Okay, I'm going to tell you, this is part of the problem, though.
Okay.
Our HR person was going around. They were going around the HR person.
Because they didn't feel comfortable with her?
Pardon?
Because they didn't feel comfortable, or?
No, this was the administration that was going around.
Oh, I see.
Mr. Sutherfield?
So, City Attorney, just for clarification, the City Council has no authority over the hospital commission at all.
Only to remove commissioners or the commissioner. The hospital is run by the hospital commission, and their They have their own entity that the city, is the umbrella over, but the hospital commission runs the hospital.
Does the mayor have any authority over the hospital?
No.
No.
Any other comments? I would suggest, I know there's a lot of feelings with the chairman, but he and the commission have worked real hard on dealing with a lot of the information that the state health department has asked for us. And I think we need to follow through and allow to see what the results are from the hospital or from the state health department before we make any decisions on the commission. Now, it's up to the council to do what y'all want, but I think right now they've got a rapport and establishment and working with getting an attorney up here who is going to be investigating a lot of these allegations, because there's allegations on both sides and none of us know. We're making a lot of assumptions. It's the council and myself, because I'm not sure of a lot of things that have gone on either. I've heard things from the people and the public. I don't know. And I'd like to have a third-party independent person come up and explain to us and tell us. And I think that's what the council or the commission has done in hiring this attorney to come in and investigate and come up with the answers that we can see where we are. So, Mr. Holyfield?
I agree with that. Also, Ken, you're not chair anymore after this month.
I'm not chair after the end of the month, no.
He's resigned, or Sandy Martin's taken over the chair in January. And I don't think y'all have some meetings obviously going on because of the situation happening, but yeah. So, Mr. Avanzino?
So I think it was 50 or 52 issues that the Department of Health came up with, correct?
Well, there's 53 pages, but there's...
Okay, 53 pages.
I think there was actually, if I remember right, I think there was actually 28 specific citations.
Okay, so I guess my question is, this attorney from Little Rock will only be investigating the issues that were presented by the Department of Health, not the underlying issues of administration. Is
I
that
have
correct?
suggested that he look at the underlying issues.
So he does know that?
Not just what the Department of Health is looking at.
He does know that. Yeah.
Getting back into the nuts and bolts of what's going on, what we can do to improve the hospital. Now, there was allegations that there were procedures, manuals that we didn't have. On the other hand, I understand that we had them in May, and we don't have them now. We don't know what happened.
That's
This attorney's going to set
not
up.
quite true. We had them, but individual employees did not turn them over to the Department of Health when they were requested.
Okay. So this attorney is going to look into all of those, and if we need to, and he's going to look at these procedures also, and if the procedures need to be refined and addressed, he's going to make recommendations on that. The attorney's been dealing with hospitals all of his professional career, I believe. So, and he's got a good, so anyway, I think that's a good start for us in trying to establish confidence back into our hospital, which I think we all want.
Yes.
And we all want
For sure.
place for people to work and enjoy coming to and working there.
I think that's fair.
Any other comments, questions? Mr. Holyfield?
I feel like the city council is not connected to a lot of our city commissions. I feel like they're out there and we're here, and we only hear about when stuff hits the fan. And I like to see maybe some suggestions on how we can improve that. Maybe having a city, I like CAPC because we've had 2 city council members on the commission. So we get reports back, we get feedback immediately. I would love to see a city council member on each one of the commissions in town.
I agree with that.
Representative.
And we can't really do that.
Do what?
We can't do that with a lot of the commissions.
HDC, we can't do that. But the other ones, I think we can, as far as I know.
I'm not sure about parks and some of these others, so, yeah.
But have that connection, because I feel like we're just separate, you know? And the city can be sued
I mean,
for
we
what a
can-
lot of
we
these
can-
commissions
We
do.
are being sued.
We
Let's
can
be
nominate,
real.
have people represent as allies.
Yeah,
That's
'cause
not a problem.
There's a huge
They just
liability
won't
out
have, they
there.
won't have a voting thing, but they'll be,
I like
can be
that.
allies.
Yeah, but how many times have we sat up here and asked for a monthly request from all the commissioners? We've asked for that.
Report.
A report, a simple report. And even with you two sitting on there on the CAPC, we still don't really get a report, which I'm thankful that you hopefully would bring up something, but if it was an issue, but it's still,
I know we're
blind.
dealing,
I know we're
going
tampering,
off on
but
sidetracks here.
I hear you.
this is
We're
it.
dealing with the hospital right now. So, all right. Anybody else have questions, comments for Mr. Turner? All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right. All right, that leads us into our public comments. 3 minutes for each citizens, please.
I just want to make a few points here. I'm Dr. Breckeisen. I'm Dr. Breckeisen. Oh, freedom of speech, y'all. You going to force me out?
Can you go please sign up,
So,
get in line?
I'm Dr. Breckeisen. I work the ER here, and
Please, sir.
whoo!
Please, sir.
Yeah.
Sign-
So
please.
you guys, there's zero confidence in the. I'm speaking for the employees and the patients, and there is zero confidence. There is zero confidence
All right.
in this commission and in the hospital leadership. Cynthia has to go. There is no other way about this. If you've ever seen that movie Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze and you go into a small town, it's nothing but corruption. That's what this hospital and this commission is. They have fired everyone who has ever dared speak out against them. The employees that are left will not say anything out of fear. You going to
right.
remove me?
Please,
Get away.
hey,
Hey,
Get away from me.
That's enough.
would you
Now,
go ahead?
now, you
I'm asking you to be removed.
You guys have removed Angie, the CEO,
Please.
Jessica, the
Shut
CNO.
off the microphone, please.
This is corruption.
Come on.
This commission's got you gotta go, buddy.
Microphone back on.
Push the button.
I think it's on now. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Richard Webb III. I live at 204 Huntsville
I'm
Road.
sorry, what was your name again?
Richard Webb. I live at 204 Huntsville Road, Apartment 2, Eureka Springs, Arkansas. This is my wife, Samantha. My wife and I were both former employees of Eureka Springs Hospital. My wife was wrongfully terminated by CFO Cynthia Asbury and HR Director and Acting CEO Jody Edmondson last year. She fought it through unemployment and won, not once but twice. My wife is the sweetest woman in the world. She was wrongfully terminated and defamed for no reason other than greed, arrogance, and self-entitlement. I was still employed there as a housekeeper and laundry after my wife won her unemployment case. Then they retaliated against me by demanding that I clean upstairs administrators' personal bathrooms and do it in front of Cynthia. Even though I was already doing the work of three people that three people had previously done, they went after my dignity. It was all because my wife stood up to them and won and ruined their perfect no unemployment record. We lost everything, our income, our retirement, our benefits, and etc., and suffered and still are. My question is, how can you as leaders sit by and see all the bad things that were done to us and a lot of other good people in this community? See all the laws that have been broken and do nothing. You all have a choice to make at this moment. Stand up for the real victims of this mess and stop protecting the guilty. or to continue to protect the guilty and ignore all the victims of their unlawful actions? How do you want your names remembered as leaders in this community? Thank you. I yield what time.
I don't cry.
Bring the microphone down so we can hear you.
Can you hear me? Stay right here. Samantha Webb, 204 Huntsville Road, Apartment 2, Eureka Springs. I'm nobody special. I'm not a doctor or a nurse. I was, however, the medical records clerk for Eureka Springs Hospital. That is until I was wrongfully terminated in September 2023. Tell their story. That's what my former supervisor told me. Words that stayed with me. I took pride in my job and I loved it. I took my lifelong passion for helping others and put it into everything I did. So did everyone else who worked there, including my husband. We went from going in each and every morning with smiles and enthusiasm, building our future, to you can't give our medical records out to just anybody. This is a huge HIPAA violation. And it would be nice if you went upstairs and cleaned the restrooms, make sure the CFO sees you. To picking and choosing what you can afford each week and scraping by to make rent, not to mention making ends meet, after you've had a retirement benefits and a steady income. I couldn't even find a job because I now have a bad mark on my work record, and yet I never violated anything, much less HIPAA. I was suspended and fired, yet I won my unemployment case, not once but twice. And both the CFO and our HR director know it. They knew it then too, including the hospital's former CEO, yet no one did anything about it. Everyone who worked there was angry and frustrated. They felt hopeless. No more smiles, no more high fives. It went from enthusiasm and a sense of purpose and community to what's the point? Nothing's going to be done, and besides, I can't lose my job. Even those who were fully aware that what was happening was wrong wouldn't speak up. Then a reporter for The Independent came along and offered us all a voice. She knew there was a story that needed to be told. Instantly, my husband and I reached out. We were the very first ones to tell our story, just like I was the first to win her unemployment. Not in all the time that the HR director, interim CEO, has been there, has anyone able to do that until I came along. At the time, my husband was still employed at ESH, but he knew how big this was and how important. People deserved to know what was going on and that voices deserved to be heard. I loved that hospital. I loved the people there and was proud to do whatever I could to help and make a difference. Isn't that the whole point? So I will never understand how it went from the hospital with a heart, to a playground. How one person can come in, change the rules, turn it on its ear, and get away with it still today. She is a CFO, not the CEO. If one is a CEO, why would they need the permission of a commission chair to fire anyone, much less the CFO? If ESH was given $4.5 million, then where is it? You, Mr. Mayor, have a responsibility. Not just to Mr. and Mrs. Tourist, not just the events hosted by Eureka Springs or the businesses and the lodging. You have a responsibility to our hospital and the staff and the citizens who call Eureka Springs home. All of this is ridiculous. It is asinine and even cruel. There's no reason for any of us to have lost our jobs, no reason for anyone to have left because they knew they deserved better. No reason for corruption and greed and arrogance, none. Yet here we are, still, and there they are, still trucking along. They wash their hands of me and everybody else as if nothing ever happened. Thank you. Thank you.
Greetings, Mayor, Council. I'm Alan Smith. I'm a resident of Western Carroll County. I, too, am gravely concerned about the poor management at the hospital. Many of my fellow seniors in the area have told me they have put signs on their doors and refrigerators for EMS workers not to take them to Eureka Springs Hospital. The reputation of Eureka Springs Hospital is at an all-time low, and doctors and even a couple of lawyers have told me that the hospital commission and management situation is a disgrace, and the city needs to clean house. That being said, I understand there's a proposal from Dr. John House to take over management of our little hospital. What a great solution to have a clinician with a successful business history in charge. It would go a long way to restore confidence in the hospital. I might add, from previous comments, the audit in May met most of the benchmarks, and most of the audits before also did. According to the health department, most of the people that do those jobs were let go under duress or worse. I thank the mayor and council for this opportunity to speak. I hope you will take action. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tina Adams, and I am a former employee of ESH. I am talking today because of the lack of patient care that has still not been dealt with and how things will not change with the 2 employees that are allowed to still be employed there. When I was employed at ESH, I took my complaints and issues through the proper channels, which include City Council and the Commission, but I was never approached by anyone to see if I was okay or needed anything. If you go through the channels and yet nothing is investigated or fixed, who do you go to? We were city employees, but did not get treated like city employees. We were treated as if we belonged to the island of misfit toys, and no one lifted a finger to help us. What if you had a family member, sorry, I'm going to cry, being a member? What if you had a family member being treated like this? What would be your thoughts of ESH? And what would you want them to do? According to the Hot Mic article, Kent and others still do whatever they want without regards to the law. How is that even possible? My first question for the city council members is, when do you step in and take over, or at least investigate all the complaints and concerns? When does this become your liability? Second question, why let 2 employees, HR or CEO, CFO, push almost all the directors out, and then they have to hire staff to fix almost every department? Let's take the lab, for instance, because I am the old lab director. The hospital is paying $20,000 to have Beckman Coulter come in and train new staff. Tell me, how is that cost effective when I could have done that? Third question, did Kent and any other commissioners have bloodborne pathogen training before they transported patient samples to another facility? Were the samples stored at the right temp? And what about HIPAA? Were the patient names and diagnosis hidden? How can the hospital survive when there is hardly any sustainable staff that is committed, or staff that have been trained properly? On the survey, when I was employed, the CFO refused to pay for my infection control training. She refused to respond to emails about the training. I had sent an email saying that I was not trained, and yet I was told I had to do it. I was still, to the day I left, was not trained.
A little different topic here. And what I think I'll do, I have great empathy for the position that you guys are in. I'm going to pass this out. These items are on the agenda.
Introduce yourself, Jack.
My name's Jack Moyer. I'm general manager of the Crescent Hotel and live in Eureka Springs. So I'll pass these items out. They're on your agenda for your review. It's in clarity for the confetti issue. Obviously, nothing is as significant as what you're dealing with at the hospital, and I have great empathy for your position. So I'm going to give this to you. This will define New Year's Eve, and I hope to be called back up so I can speak to that after we have respected the rights of the folks who are working in the hospital issue.
This is copies of the letters.
Who are you?
I'm Liz Collins.
Please, go to the microphone.
Just a moment here. She's getting ready to.
My name is Elizabeth Collins, and I have some papers here to pass out to the members. It's basically a copy of the letter that I sent you earlier voicing my concerns of the internal and operational management that's currently going on. I'll just hand these over to you. You all have these.
Thank you.
That is the letters that I sent to you by email, and on the back is a list of the 19 articles that I told you that are currently out there in association with the hospital. Tonight, first, I want to address Mr. Turner's comments on there not basically being the staff that he had there who wasn't who they thought they were. This, in fact, is not true. If you look on that paper, the people that have left since just April, I don't have a copy for myself where I'd reference it. I listed the titles and positions of CNO, radiology director, lab director, physical therapy director, and ER admissions person. The first CNO prior to the one that was just recently terminated. Myself, I'm compliance officer, which is regulatory matters. I also became responsible for infection control, quality assurance, and later, I don't know if I said risk and safety, quality assurance, and at one point, I was asked to be over IT with no background. At that point, I said, I have to give up quality assurance. This will kind of bring you to the audit. I know you know nothing of this audit. This is a state audit, and there's rules and regulations and standards that they come in and audit your facility for, top to bottom, dietary to lab, everywhere. This does not audit human relations, financial or anything else. It's all within the body of the hospital. Mr. Turner quoted that it was clinical only. The fact of that is, in one of the citations is leadership, I believe it's called, and that specifies the governing body, which the commission is. And it, even in their bylaws, the commission bylaws, it states what they are responsible for in relation to the hospital. Not just these things, it's specific to quality assurance, infection control, emergency preparedness. Emergency preparedness is one of the 3 pages. There is absolutely no emergency preparedness at the facility. This was a very strong, presented time and time again issue. One person in it, another person in it, another person in it. I can speak to the other portion of the audit. Wow. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Bradley Tate Green, business owner for Eureka. Recently moved to Holiday Island. I'm speaking on behalf of myself as a citizen because of colleagues sitting among you. As a concerned citizen, but also as an individual who holds 7 degrees, including 1 to run a hospital, I've been in contact with many of the employees of this hospital to where they have shared their stories with me. That audit in May may have shown good things, but when you have retaliation, bullying, people that are singled out, people that are leaving because they don't want to lose their medical license. I mean, I just saw a doctor pulled out of here, but he's probably passionate because there's so much crap going on. Nobody's doing anything about it. He's probably scared he's going to lose his medical license because of the hospital. So my thing is open your eyes to what is really happening, because Kent Turner failed to bring up the fact that every single commissioner violated FOIA after their meeting by talking about the hospital. Do you know what that tells me? None of them can be trusted. There's no integrity. There's no trust in the entire commission. So therefore, that translates over into the hospital, because who's running it? Nobody. Then you've got 2 people running the hospital that have no idea how to run a hospital. They have no medical training, no clinical training. As a CEO, I find it very, very concerning that if I was a CEO there, I would be everybody that walked in that building would be checking in with me, and I would be holding you accountable and responsible for the protection and safety of every patient and every medical provider in that hospital. And this commission, I don't know if they have the rights to any patient information. And I'm honestly thinking that the lab director may have resigned, because I got word that one commissioner walked into the lab a couple of weeks ago after they had just had a general meeting and discussed HIPAA, and a commissioner violated HIPAA. She resigned. I called for Kent's removal of chair, and yet he violated FOIA again by a recording. And yet that proves that he should have been gone a long time ago. But he's still there.
Amen.
And as long as he's still there, even though he just resigned, but then you got other commissioners that follow his lead. And it's just hogwash. And yet, I don't think a commissioner can just walk in and get patient information, ask for access for it, obtain it. You've all got emails from me explaining other things, so that's all I have to say.
Hi, I'm Charlotte Bunyar. Thank you for your patience and everything during tonight. I'm just going to kind of talk off the cuff. I don't have anything specifically written. I think a lot of you asked the right questions tonight. I agree with the commissioners breaking the FOIA laws. I feel like why hasn't anything been done about that? Obviously, trust has been lost. I worked at the hospital as a nurse, and I saw a lot of the kind of stuff that was going on with the commissioners coming into the hospital. I was there when the CFO first came in, and I can tell you it was a major change. It's been said before, she told everyone she intended to fire everyone in here. And as for the audit, I know that's hard to understand if you don't, if you never worked in a hospital or don't know much about it. I can tell you, though, that as you already know, the commission has a job to do regarding the policies and procedures that weren't followed and that they were cited for in the state audit. I don't know that I've ever seen, I've watched a lot of commission meetings, I don't see where they're ever discussing things like that. And so I feel like they really obviously haven't had a part in it, and that should be considered. Who's making up this commission. They should probably be people who know a little bit about policies and procedures. I I think it's very shameful that Kent's saying this was sabotage. It wasn't sabotage. Jody actually called the CNO, the one, not the one they fired, the one that was before that, asking her where she can find these policies and procedures. I was working there. We did certain things that aren't, or that, you know, I was working there. For instance, I think Kent said there was like restraints, policy and procedures, and there was no evidence. They couldn't find any of them. But I was working there, and I had the education on it. I know it was happening. And I'm telling you, I think he's implying that the leadership that they fired just took all those policies and procedures with them. But that's not true. They're there. They just can't find them, guys. They're in that hospital on the computers. They just can't find them. So really, that whole audit was crap. That stuff is in the hospital. You just need people in there that actually knows what they're doing. And a CEO, what's her name, Jody, and Cynthia, CFO, how would they know that? I mean, come on. So let's just get together and figure this out. I know Dr. House has a proposal. I think it's a wonderful idea. And I think you guys as commissioners, I vote off commissioners, is what I understood. And I think that you should seriously consider that and maybe help or look into appointing community members that want to be on the commission that do have relevant experience working in hospitals today, which is totally different than what it's been in like the past 10, 15 years. Really, that's the main thing. The HIPAA laws, they're still being broken. You can't have commissioners running labs. I'm sorry. You can't just check in with any hospital, call any hospital and say, hey, what are your laws or what are your rules for that? And they will tell you it has to be a hospital employee. They're not hospital employees. Hospital employees can't serve on the commission. What? Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Lisa Miller. I emailed this letter too because I wasn't sure if I'd make it here in time, so I'll just go ahead and read it. I'm Lisa Miller, former dietary director at Eureka Springs Hospital, and I must bring critical issues to your attention regarding the recent CMS survey conducted in November. The Commission's perception that these problems are solely the responsibility of department heads is misguided. These issues emerged after the loss of key leadership, particularly Liz Collins, who managed quality assurance, infection control, patient grievances. She was also over compliance, and then they put her over IT also. She was over safety and infection control and patient grievances effectively until her unjust dismissal in April. It's clear that her removal was influenced by Barbara Dix, Kent Turner, Cynthia Asbury, and Jody Edmondson due to Liz's willingness to address misconduct. Under Cynthia's leadership as CFO, the hospital's performance has plummeted. We saw a resurgence of patient care before her tenure, but since then, Cynthia and Jody and the Commission have decimated departments, cut staff, and prioritized financial concerns over essential patient needs. The dietary deficiencies highlighted in the survey are directly linked to these misguided decisions as well. Following an incident where Cynthia attempted to intimidate me, I reported my incident to the CEO, who kind of laughed it off. Oh, something like that happened earlier this week too. I'll take care of it. Nothing happens. Later, I go to Jody, the HR. She acts surprised. She had not even heard of this. But still, nothing was ever investigated. I was never questioned. never asked for my side of the story, nothing. So I turned my statement into Liz Collins because she was the compliance officer, but then they let her go after that. So nothing ever happened after that. And after that, after the incident, kitchen operations were severely restricted after that. No more doctor meals. Then it's no more employee meals. It just went on and on. Take out the snacks. We'll bring our own vending machine in, even though we had a vending machine that I stocked, resulting in an unacceptable decline in staff and patient meal services. My proposals for improving the financial performance of the dietary department were consistently ignored. It is imperative that the City Council take immediate action. Thank you for your time.
The hero.
Damon Hinkie here, 19 Thomas Drive. I have nothing to do with the hospital. And the only reason I walked up here earlier was because I thought if it was a free-for-all, I wanted my turn next, but apparently he took offense to that. So anyway, I'm here to talk about the temporary entertainment district. It's going to be short. It's going to be for New Year's Eve. I wanted you guys to know a part of this temporary entertainment district is really to try and help out some of the bar owners because, as you know, drinks can leave through the doors of an establishment, and they're going to be monitoring their doors as much as possible to keep drinks from coming in, but also if somebody's trying to sneak a drink out, it's just one more ease off their mind that they don't have to panic if somebody takes a drink into the streets, because we all know there's going to be drinks in the streets whether we have a temporary entertainment district or not. But if you have any questions, let me know. I think I've talked to a few of you and you've got the parameters there. It only goes from the auditorium up to Chelsea's. It's short, does swing down and catch Eureka Live, but I don't think we'll have any problems. Good luck with it. Thank you.
All right, does that conclude our public comments? All right, that concludes our public comments for this evening, and thank everybody for your comments. I appreciate it, and I know the council does also. First item of business will be item number 1, bed and breakfast ordinance under unfinished business. Motion to discuss.
Move to discuss.
Second.
All right, we have before you, I guess for the third reading, unfinished business ordinance 2364. Mr. Meyer.
I'd like to ask one of the members of the planning to come up and talk to us. Ann?
Ms. Lee, would you? You have a question?
Are you happy with this ordinance? Would you like us to change it any?
I think there's an issue that came up at the last meeting that should be addressed to possibly put into the ordinance. We have been doing some show cause hearings for various reasons, and one of the things that we have discovered is that we have bed and breakfasts that are not advertising as bed and breakfast, which basically makes them tourist lodging. And one of the establishments wanted to know where it was quoted in city ordinance that they had to advertise that they were a bed and breakfast. They are advertising as a boutique inn, boutique hotel. I question why you wouldn't. That's what you are. We also don't have permitted use for hotels or inns in our residential areas. So I'd like to suggest that you, on section 1, that you add bed and breakfast must advertise on all advertising platforms that they're a bed and breakfast. That's what they are.
I'd like to add to that they advertise what type of breakfast they're serving.
If I could just make a comment on that. We're never all going to agree. I know in my mind, when I think of bed and breakfast, what it should be, I think that we just have to leave that to the consumer. If they advertise as a bed and breakfast, and I know that we have some that you can get on their Facebook, and it's a wonderful breakfast. If, as a consumer, you don't check it out and you get there and you think it's going to be a continental breakfast or it's going to be a sit-down breakfast, and it turns out to be a bowl of pre-packaged snacks, you choose to go back or you don't. That's just my opinion.
Well, I'm not asking them to specify any particular type of breakfast.
Oh, okay.
Just that they will serve you breakfast.
He means like hot meal.
And that it might be just granola bars. It might be just dry cold cereal, but I think that should be in their ad.
Doesn't it quote in here that where for compensation, lodging, and breakfast are provided? Doesn't that cover that?
Well, it covers that, but they're not advertising that they're bed and breakfast. They're just advertising rooms. And they're not saying that they have breakfast.
I understand that, but addressing Mr. Meyer's concern about breakfast. It already says that they've got to serve breakfast.
True.
So what you're asking is that in section 1, that they, when advertise?
It fits better in section 3. Does that? It fits better in section 3 because that's where it specifies their bookings, listing, and advertisements.
Looking for the revocation, though.
Yes, but it says they must list business license number and description or title. We could easily edit that and say, and advertise as bed and breakfast, personally.
Mr. City Attorney, what's your thoughts?
This issue's been raised before, and the big question is, what is a breakfast?
No, advertising.
Advertising?
Yeah, just saying that you got to advertise
Well,
that you're serving.
Breakfast part. That you are a bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
Advertise as a bed and breakfast.
Right.
Yeah.
Not as a boutique motel.
Yeah, I agree with her.
Okay. Where's the best spot to put that?
Section 1?
I'll have to look at that because this was, I'll have to figure out where it goes, but it can be done.
Well, we're on our third reading right now.
I think with all the sections that we have here, to me, the most sense is section 1, and I think that's what planning agrees to as well, correct?
That's what I propose.
Would someone like to propose an amendment to section 1?
Propose an amendment to section 1 that bed and breakfast, the must advertise as a bed and breakfast.
Second.
Second, yeah.
Would that satisfy what you're asking?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thanks.
So
Thank you.
Section 1. Can we repeat that? Madam Clerk, you got that?
Amendment to section 1 that bed and breakfast must advertise as a bed and breakfast.
All right, any further discussion? No. All right, get a motion to approve adding amendment to section 1 that says must advertise as a bed and breakfast.
I move to approve ordinance 2364 with the addition.
We're doing the amendment.
Amend.
Motion to approve the amendment, must advertise as bed and breakfast in section 1 of ordinance 2364.
Second.
Okay, now we got a second.
No. We need to vote on that amendment. We had a motion and a second by Mr. Meyer and Avanzino for the amendment. Now we just need to vote.
That's right. That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay. You lost me. And we're not voting on the amendment?
We're right. That's
We
what
need
you
to
said.
vote on the amendment, but they didn't need to make a second motion. We're on the first motion.
Harry already made the motion.
Okay. All right, let's,
It's been a long night.
I'm still confused here.
Voting on the amendment, sir.
Beg your pardon?
We need to vote on the amendment.
Right, that's where I thought we were.
That's where we are.
Okay. All those in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, so moved. All right.
I'd like to suspend the rules, Mr. Mayor, and read ordinance number 2364 by title only for its third reading as amended.
Second.
All right, Mr. McClung made a motion to suspend the rules and read ordinance 2364 by title only as amended. And Mr. Myers seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, roll call.
Yes. Autumn Slane?
Yes.
Steve Holofield?
Yes.
Terry McClung?
Yes.
David Avanzino?
Yes.
Susan Gruning?
Yes.
Harry Meyer?
Yes.
All right.
Ordinance number 2364, an ordinance amending Title 1408 of the Eureka Springs Municipal Code regarding zoning districts.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2364 on its third reading.
Second.
And Mr. McClung made a motion to approve ordinance 2364 on its third reading. Mr. Myers seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
I keep doing that. Susan Gruning?
Yes.
David Avanzino?
Yes.
Harry Meyer?
Yes.
Terry McClung?
Yes.
Autumn Slane?
Yes.
Steve Holofield?
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, next item is the sewer update. Simon, you come up and give us a, I guess we're actually probably combining 2 and 3, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Get a motion to discuss.
So moved.
Second.
All right.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So a little bit of update what happened over the last month at the sewer plant is we installed a bar screen on the sludge basin to kind of catch all the rags. We're waiting. I went to Aqua Turbo in Springdale and looked at the aeration equipment and the decanter and all that over there at the facility. They make it right here in Springdale. We're waiting on a revised quote, so as soon as I get that, we'll be able to move forward with that. I hired a new employee a few months ago, Sean Mellon. He lives here in Eureka Springs. He's an electrician by trade. He's been a great asset to us at the wastewater plant, but he is testing for his Class 1 wastewater license next week. I guess it was Thursday or Friday, we removed the UV bulbs out of the channel to service them. We found some bad bulbs and some bad ballasts. We replaced everything that we had parts for, and we're waiting on a quote for some more parts. We had replaced all the belts on the belt press and everything. That belt press is actually running 100% for the first time since I've been here. And the relocation of the sludge pumps has been completed, so they're in the belt press room. Now, as far as this weekend goes, it was kind of a hiccup this weekend. We had the SBR1, the decant, quit working. It was clogged over with rags. We got that cleared out. Parks Department loaned us a kayak, and we got out there. We did have a paddle, so that was great.
Wait a minute. You found a kayak paddle? Is that what you're saying?
We borrowed a kayak from the Parks Department.
Oh, never mind.
And we had a just at the sewer plant. We had a paddle, so we weren't up the creek without.
You know
one.
which creek it is.
Joke, sorry. And then on the SBR2, our air compressor is not working right. It's not working in auto. We could work it manually, so we're not discharging out of SBR2 at all until tomorrow. We're still working on that issue. And then so where the flow line comes into the sludge basin, there's a 6-inch pipe that just direct discharges into that basin, and the velocity of that water coming out of that pipe is pretty large. So I talked to JL Bryson about building a big diffuser to go over the bar screen that we just had installed to kind of dissipate that energy a little bit. So we should be looking for that to be installed here in the next few days. So other than that, I'll stand for any questions.
I really like the looks of that old belt press at working on there.
The hot pink belts on there,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, the hot pink belts.
A little pizzazz.
Yeah.
The sludge doesn't jiggle as bad as it used to.
We're producing so
Not
much
as
sludge
wet.
right now that I actually had Carroll County Solid Waste bring us a second roll-off dumpster. So now we have 2 roll-off dumpsters at the Public Works office because they couldn't keep up with us with the amount that we were hauling off. We're looking at drawing that back a little bit, but we just need to make sure that we have everything in place to where we can manage everything that we can produce out of that plant for now. So.
Any plans on demolition of the old building?
Yeah, so that'll be part of that bigger project that hopefully happens next year. If you want to merge into item 3, we could probably do that. So the item 3, we're talking about the funding a little bit on the wastewater plant. So they had I guess it was a November meeting now. My days are kind of blending in together with the ANRC over approving funding for the applications that were submitted. For some reason, ours just didn't make the agenda. And talking to Zane, it was the lady that works for ANRC that didn't get it on the agenda. So she's going to have it on the agenda for the January meeting. So we'll have more information, hopefully, the middle end of January as far as that funding request goes. They're having to resubmit the application again. So Zane was working on that today to get that resubmitted again. So we should be hopefully good to go come January.
Cool. Anybody else have any questions? All right, thanks, Simon.
Thank you.
All right, our next item is under unfinished business and ordinance vacating a section of Carroll Street.
Motion to discuss.
Second?
Okay. This is our second reading on ordinance 2365. Mr. McClung?
Yes, sir. I'd like to make a motion that we suspend the rules and read ordinance number 2365 by title only for its second reading.
Second?
Mr. McClung made the motion and Mr. Myers seconded. Suspend the rules and read ordinance 2365 by title only. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Steve Holofield,
Yes.
Terry McClung,
Yes.
Susan Gruning,
Yes.
David Avanzino,
Yes.
Autumn Slane,
Yes.
Harry Meyer.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2365, an ordinance vacating a portion of Carroll Street between Block 221 and Blocks 195 and 184 of the Riley and Armstrong survey.
Mr. McClung?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2365 in its second reading.
Second?
Mr. McClung made the motion to approve ordinance 2365, but Mr. Myers seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none.
Harry Meyer,
Yes.
David Avanzino,
Yes.
Steve Holofield,
Yes.
Susan Gruning,
Yes.
Terry McClung,
Yes.
Autumn Slane.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And that brings us up to our ordinance unfinished business number 5, ordinance for temporary lift of the ban on confetti for New Year's Eve.
Motion to discuss.
Yes.
A second.
It was suggested to amend this ordinance to read under section 1 to add and hand-tossed or confetti bundles or cannon on Spring Street level only within the boundaries of Basin Park to even more specifically get back into the confetti issues. Mr. Avanzino.
Yeah, I will say that I agree with this because at the Christmas parade, I heard one float use a cannon to expel confetti, and it scared the out of me. I thought it was gunfire, honestly, because I'd never heard it before at a parade.
That's against the law.
Well, it happened, Harry. I'm just saying.
Uh-huh.
I didn't.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, it was right in front of Basin Park, actually.
Yeah.
I wonder what float that was.
All right, Mr. McClung?
It is my understanding, Mr. Mayor, that what really they're trying to accomplish here is a one-time deal for the at New Year's, which is also going to be a photo shoot for advertising for the city. Correct. And that the confetti will be confined to Basin Park. It'll be of, a biodegradable paper and very limited, and that the Parks Department and I think Public Works have agreed to clean up afterwards. So I don't know if we need to modify the ordinance or just how do we do a one-shot deal?
Well, just to clarify whether to throw or it's just going to be hand-tossed bundles.
Well, I don't think that really resolves what they're trying to do. If they're trying to do what I was told for a one-shot deal, I'm all for it.
All right. Well, it is one time. That's right.
But that's not what this says.
It's not what the ordinance.
That's not what the ordinance says.
And they were going to volunteer to clean up the next day. Not that City Parks and Public Works was going to clean it up.
Parks and Public Works is involved in this as well. They're a part of the committee in doing this. And
Mr. Moyer, would you like to add something to this?
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm the chair of the committee, the New Year's Eve committee. So also we operate underneath the Christmas committee, to which the mayor is on the Christmas committee, the Public Works director is on the Christmas committee, the Parks director is on the Christmas committee. It was discussed and presented from that committee that Public Works will run the street sweeper and Parks will be there to clean up after.
So if it rains after the parade is over, after midnight, there's going to be a bunch of slop in the street.
I think we have clearly addressed the concerns that were brought to us
I don't think
with
so.
hand-tossed confetti and street level street cannon.
I'm sorry, I'm totally opposed.
I appreciate that opinion, and we believe we've heard from the voices of the commission and the Parks Department.
Mr. McClung?
Am I not correct in what I said earlier, that it's going to be confined to the park and it's for the advertising purposes for,
the Basin's Park area. So there will be some in Spring Street. The shot that is being framed, and we already have significant media coming for New Year's Eve. I've included the description for you all. And on the back of the description, you can also see the members of the New Year's Eve committee. They are listed for all of you. To be honest, so excited about what we're doing for New Year's Eve. It's an excellent collaboration of city departments, businesses, volunteers. We have worked a partnership with the state of Arkansas, who is providing influencers to come into the area. We have a filmmaker coming to capture the event, and we have a local content creator. So, we're not talking about a small deal here. Probably at the end of the day, we're talking about between $70,000 and $75,000 worth of investment, with a key element of promoting year-round Eureka Springs. So we're throwing a big event to tell the story that we're a year-round destination to drive additional traffic to keep us going 12 months of the year. Part of that, as Mr. McClung mentioned, is if you're on New Year's Eve, you burst a little confetti shot as you're doing a raindrop drop 61 feet off the side of a hotel into a splash that then lights up 2025 on the top of a big hotel in the backdrop. So the image is important.
Ms. Gurney?
I'm all for the advertising to bring something new and refreshing to Eureka Springs, and I think it's a marvelous idea, but I don't want to get wet.
Don't get wet. It's
This
not.
water
there's no-
thing, I've been
It is a
thinking about.
splash, but it is an LED splash. So I think the department heads have stepped up to understand the importance, from the CAPC to Public Works to the Parks Department to the mayor's office. I'm really proud of the collaboration that has happened here, and I think you guys should be too.
It's a great collaboration.
Ms. Slane?
I think it's a beautifully planned event. I am so excited to have it, and I think we can certainly make the exception.
Thank you.
It's exciting.
Mr. Holyfield?
So how do we make the exception here?
Mr. McClung's right.
We have an ordinance abandoning it, so do we,
Would it be in the title, Mr. City Attorney, saying an amendment to ordinance 2351 to ban outdoor confetti for New Year's Eve 2024?
One
Would that be
time.
sufficient?
Well, let's just say that this is a great success, and we certainly hope that it is. Will they be coming back next year, asking for another ordinance next year and the year after that? This is a blanket ordinance, and I simply said biodegradable and environmentally friendly so that we don't have to come back next year if it's a success. If they handle it properly and do biodegradable like they say they will, I don't see why this ordinance cannot take care of the situation without micromanaging it.
Oh, the
couldn't
question
answer
is, do
my
we
question.
want to allow it on New Year's Eve, or do we want to allow it on Christmas, or do we want to allow it in May? Do we want to allow confetti being blown out of cannons whenever anybody feels like it?
Mr. Holyfield?
so are you asking for this every year? Are you asking for 1 year, or?
I'm currently asking for 1 year.
Yeah.
And for maybe 10 minutes.
I personally would like to see it one time and then see how it goes. And if it's a big mess, then we won't do it next year, you know.
With great success, I'll be happy to come back
Mr.
and
McClung?
modify the ordinance one more time.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make propose an amendment. I make a motion for this amendment to be Section 3. This ordinance is for a single event on December 31st, 2024.
Second.
Okay, so that'd be like Section 3. Is that what you said?
Yeah, Section 3.
Wouldn't it be January 1st?
Pardon me?
Wouldn't it be January 1st?
December 31st, 2024, January 1st, 2025, whatever you want to call it. I don't care.
I just, okay.
When do you plan on doing it?
Happy getting rid of the old year. I don't
In
care.
the middle of the night at the end of the year.
Yeah. It's Lapland.
I think we had, did we get a motion? Who made the motion? Mr.
Terry.
McClung, did we get a second?
Would you rather I change the date? I mean, that's fine. You can change the date.
You want to keep it January 1st?
Yeah, January 1st.
Since it's going to happen at midnight?
Sure, January
Okay,
21st, 2025.
thank you, sorry.
Oh, it's
David
fine.
Alvazino seconded.
Mr. Amazino, second. All right. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor of the amendment, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
All right, so moved.
Thank you.
All right, now then, got to vote on the ordinance.
Motion to approve ordinance number 2366.
It's just
Is this its first reading?
Yes.
second reading.
It's on the second reading as amended.
All right, get a second?
Second.
Let me,
Mr. Amazino.
may I reword that
No,
for
he
him,
did it
please?
to approve. We need a motion to read
The amendment?
the ordinance.
We got a second to
He's-
read the ordinance. Get a
He said
motion.
approve.
We approved the amendment.
I know, he made a motion to approve the ordinance, but we need to make a motion to read the ordinance first.
And we've not had its first reading.
This is its second reading.
Okay.
I thought that's what David
No,
said.
may I restate that motion for you?
Please.
I'd like to make a motion that we suspend the rules and read ordinance number 2366 by title only for its second reading.
All right.
Second.
All right, Mr. McClung made the motion to read ordinance 2366 as amended by title only. Mr. Almazzino seconded. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, roll call.
David Avanzino,
Yes.
Steve Holofield,
Yes.
Harry Meyer,
No.
Autumn Slane,
Yes.
Susan Gruning,
Yes.
Terry McClung.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2366, an amendment to ordinance number 2351 to ban outdoor confetti.
Mr. McClung,
I'd like to make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2366 on its second reading.
Second.
all right, Mr. McClung made the motion, Ms. Grunin seconded to approve ordinance 2366 on second reading. Any further discussion? Hearing none.
Terry McClung,
Yes.
Harry Meyer,
No.
David Avanzino,
Yes.
Autumn Slane,
Yes.
Steve Holofield,
Yes.
Susan Gruning.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that we suspend the rules and read ordinance number 2366 for its third and final reading by title only.
Have a second?
Second.
All right, Mr. McClung made the motion, and Mr. Almazzino seconded to suspend the rules and read 2366 by title only. Any discussion? All right, roll call.
Autumn Slane,
Yes.
Steve Holofield,
Yes.
Terry McClung,
Yes.
David Avanzino,
Yes.
Susan Gruning,
Yes.
Harry Meyer.
No.
Ordinance number 2366, an amendment to ordinance number 2351 to ban outdoor confetti.
Mr. McClung?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2366 on its final reading.
Second.
All right, Mr. McClung made the motion, Mr. Avanzino seconded to approve ordinance 2366 on third reading. Any further discussion? Hearing none?
Susan Gruning,
Yes.
David Avanzino,
Yes.
Harry Meyer,
No.
Terry McClung,
Yes.
Autumn Slane,
Yes.
Steve Holofield.
Yes.
Mr. McClung?
I'd like to make a motion that we read the emergency clause for this ordinance.
Second.
All right, Mr. McClung made the motion to read the emergency clause. Mr. Avanzino seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none?
Steve Holofield,
Yes.
Terry McClung,
Yes.
Susan Gruning,
Yes.
Harry Meyer,
No.
Autumn Slane,
Yes.
David Avanzino.
Yes.
Emergency clause, section 3, that due to the need to consistently apply all laws and ordinances of the city of Eureka Springs, Arkansas for the health and safety of the citizens of the city, an emergency is hereby declared to exist, and this ordinance shall take effect upon passage by the Eureka Springs City Council, signing by the Eureka Springs Mayor and City Clerk Treasurer, and posting of the ordinance.
All right. Thank you all very much. All right, our next item of business is, let's see, an appeal, new business, number 1, appeal of revocation of nonconforming status, 5 Ridgeway. Get a motion to discuss?
Motion to discuss.
Second.
All right. Ms. Harmon, would you want to come up and give us a brief summary? I know you attached in your packet, there is a timeline. Tell us exactly what we're doing and why and what's going on.
I'm Susan Harmon. I'm with the Planning Commission. This is a property that was on our list. So I'm going to say probably back in August, we had 2 or 3 properties that were legally non-conforming that were on our list to review. This property owner was brought in was asked to come in for a show cause, mainly because, like some of the other legally non-conforming properties that we had in Eureka Springs, it didn't appear like this one was open and doing business. So according to code, if a property has a legally non-conforming and they're not in business, then the city has the right to take that away from them. And it's our understanding that, and we could be wrong on this, but our understanding is that the reason why this property had a legally non-conforming was because of parking requirements. So it's a short-term lodging business that was licensed here in Eureka Spring at 5 Ridgeway. It doesn't have adequate parking, so it received a legally non-conforming for the parking part of what was required by code. So we started this back in August, I believe. There was a letter sent out for the property owner to appear for a show cause in September at our meeting. Property owner did appear at the meeting, and then we decided at that time to postpone it because there were some items that we asked for them to take care of. Number one, it was the certificate of occupancy. So certificate of occupancy, because we were told this property hadn't been open since February of 24, but then we were also told during that meeting that it hadn't been open since COVID. So we're talking probably at least 3 years that this property hadn't been open, from our understanding from the property owner. So we asked for an updated certificate of occupancy because this property was doing some renovations, and we just felt like since it hadn't been open for that long that we should get a new certificate of occupancy. In order to get a license through the city, you have to have a certificate of occupancy, and what we found out later from the building inspector is that there hadn't been a certificate of occupancy ever issued, or there wasn't a record of it. So, according to our code, you have to have that done in order to get a license. I don't know how long that had been like that. That could have been that way for 20 years. Don't know. Our reasoning was that it hadn't been open for 3 or 4 years. We needed a new certificate of occupancy. Kill two birds with one stone. So we did postpone it until I believe we postponed it until our November meeting. Property owner did indicate that she would have some guests there for Halloween. Of course, we don't have a certificate of occupancy at that time. We talked with building inspector, asked them to send out a letter that said, you need to have this done by the end of October prior to Halloween so that we can make sure that, the fire department has gone through the building and everything like that, as well as the building inspector. We did receive some communication back from the property owner that was supposed to arrive or be at the postponed show cause in November, that she was going to be out of town. There was no certificate of occupancy that had been done. Building inspector said that there was no communication as far as getting that done. So at our November meeting, we voted to revoke that LNC at 5 Ridgeway, and it was basically for a couple things. Obviously, failure to obtain a certificate of occupancy. The other option could have been at least that there was a plan in place, that we were working on it, but we did not have that in place either. So the other item was failure to establish a plan to obtain a certificate of occupancy with the city building inspector. So that's why you're here. That's why it's on your agenda, because the property owner actually filed an appeal based on our vote. So, any questions?
Susan, how long has she owned that place?
I have no idea. She's here. You want to talk to her?
The owner is here, so if we want to ask questions, yeah.
No, that was my only question.
Yeah.
Mr. Meyer, you had a question?
Yes. And if it hasn't been a bed and breakfast for some years, CAPC should know that they're not collecting any.
We went through that process too, and it's in your timeline. We did contact the CAPC, and I believe I included a copy of that info, and they said they are permitted. And the last report that we had was that they were up to date as of July of 2024. So, and they have a city license as well.
There is a city license?
There is, from what I understand from IDA, there is a city license. So it is current for 2024.
That was my question, that if the city license was active. As far as a certificate of occupancy, it's been there a long time. I would have ventured to say that there was one. I can't imagine her operating for all those years without one, so that, at some point,
Yeah, I don't know.
it could be lost in file, but I think you gotta give her the benefit of the doubt on that because of the so many years of operation.
I think our main thing was that it hadn't appeared to be open for so many years, and that's why planning asked for an updated certificate of occupancy.
Just Ms. Rogers, wait a minute. We'll let you have an opportunity here.
So,
All right.
anybody else?
Ms. Rogers, do you have?
What is your name? That's right. Yes, I
Okay,
have
please
some
state your
comments. My name is Draxie Rogers. I bought Sunnyside Inn 26 years ago. For 3 years, it was operated by another bed and breakfast here until I moved up here in 2001 when I started running it. I'm sorry, this has really upset me because she said a lot of things that are totally false. As far as I have complied with everything that has come to me from the City Planning Commission. I've been in business 23 years, until last year. I was visibly open all the time, except during COVID. There was a period there, and when COVID hit, I was already elderly, and it was not smart to be up here and operate a bed and breakfast with people coming in and saying, yes, I've had my shots, when they probably haven't. It was scary. So during that time, no, I was not here. But I was starting in 2021. I have had guests ever since then. I may not have had a house full, but I took as many as I thought I could manage. And I can give you names, addresses, you can contact them, whatever you want to do. My house is one of the most historic houses here. It was built in 1883. It has a beautiful history. It was opened as a stop for the stagecoach. And that's where people could stay when they were coming in on the stagecoach. I think that makes it extremely interesting. Then in the late 29s and 30s, it was a boarding house during the Depression. And at one time, there were as many as 30 people living there. I have a little porch over one of the rooms, and I have obtained pictures of the house with a staircase going up that porch, which I never saw the staircase. The staircase went up, and apparently one of my main bedrooms upstairs, there was a door instead of the two windows that are in there now. It was restored in 1966 and again in 1986. I'm sorry, I'm just totally.
Right, well, we got some questions. Ms. Slime?
Sure.
How many bedrooms is in your?
It has five rooms, and then a manager's quarter, my quarters.
Okay.
I serve a full breakfast, and that includes. I want to let you know what it has. I'll give you my menu. I have usually a meat casserole or just meat of some sort, at least 3 to 4 side dishes, and I make homemade cinnamon rolls every morning.
Have you had your occupancy done by the?
What, hon?
Have you received your occupancy from the building inspector?
Yes, I sure did. When I got a letter saying that I needed to do that, I came to the courthouse and got it done. and the building inspector signed off of it and everything.
And when was that? When did that
That
happen?
was maybe October, when I got a notice that I needed to do that. I had never been asked to do that before.
So you received this in 2023?
I'm sorry, what?
You received this occupancy in 2023?
I didn't have to, I never was told to file one.
Until then?
Yeah.
I got you. Okay, thank you.
Ms. Gurney?
So you never had a certificate of occupancy?
I'm so sorry, hon. Too much rock and roll.
Have you ever had a certificate of occupancy until you got the letter?
I had never filed one except this year when they asked me to.
So all these years you've been running it as a B&B, not knowing you needed the CUP?
I had no idea.
Okay.
And let me add, I think that's one of the problems here. I was unaware of half of the rules, and I've been in business 23 years. And I know maybe the new people that are coming in are given something that says you need to comply with this, this, and this. I've complied with everything. I've turned in my reports to the CAPC. I've had a license every year.
So when you say you had a license?
Yeah.
So that would be like the CUP?
No, she's been a legal nonconforming.
Okay.
So she
business license.
So she may not have known she needed, she doesn't need, because she's a legal nonconforming.
Okay. Now, so, and one of the things on here, it says that you have parking requirements. Are you able to correct that? Get parking?
Oh, yeah, do I have parking? Yes, I have three parking spaces in front of my house, and then I have right across the street, there's on the street parking that you could put 4 cars. During the White Street walk, they'll probably get 6 cars on either side.
Mr. Alexander, do you have a question?
Yeah, do you live on property?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and you've lived there for how long?
Do I what?
How long have you lived on that property?
23 years.
Okay.
I have lived there ever since I bought it.
And when was the last time that you had guests?
Halloween.
Okay.
And by the way, they asked me to bring some questions to someone, and I don't know if it's you all or who. And let me do that after we get this settled.
Who's they?
I'm sorry?
Who's they?
My guests that were here from Texas. They had stayed with me in 1920, they stayed with me when I'd been in business 3 years, and they stayed with me when I've been in business 12 years, and they stayed with me when I was in business 17 years.
Mr. Myers?
I've been by your house,
Yeah.
and there's paint cans and things sitting around on the front porch, and the sign is pretty dilapidated, so it really doesn't even look like anybody lives there. And you've told people that you were working on the inside of the house?
Well, yes, but I was also working on, we had...
If you were working inside the house, did you have a permit to work on the house?
Yes, I had a permit.
From the building inspector?
Yes, sir. I got
And
all
that's
of
when you have the permit and you do the work, that's when you get the certificate of occupancy, when the work is done. And it looks as though there's still paint cans and construction debris right there in front of the front door.
Well, they have, I just have not had them all removed, but I was not able to have the painting done on the 3rd floor. But I have a painting company that's doing it right now.
I'm just saying that it does not look like the place has been occupied. It doesn't look like...
Well, please come back by. Because,
I was just by this last week.
well,
Mr. Avanzino?
just as fast as we can.
Yeah, just I'm trying to figure out how your business is run and how you operate things. You said that these people that rented it from you on Halloween had been there several years ago and rebooked with you?
Yes.
Is that correct? Because, I mean, you're...
Most of my guests are return guests.
Okay, because I'm noticing on your website that there's really no bookings at all, no reservation system.
My website is really not kept. I do everything through booking.com.
Because I can't even find a link to book your property. I can't even find a link to book your property on booking.com or any OTA, as we call them. And I also, the Facebook page is not kept up. So I'm wondering, are you just inviting people to come and stay for holiday events?
I don't know. They call and ask for time. I have return guests. I have groups from Kansas, groups from Oklahoma, groups from, there's several different groups. I would be glad to give you names.
Okay, and as far as your parking is concerned, you said you have 5 units. Are they...
I have 5 units. I have a group with 3 vehicles in front of my house.
How many people can stay in each room?
Three of the rooms is for 2 people. Then there are 2 suites, and the suites could house as many as 5. They're double bedrooms.
So you're talking maybe 16 people?
Yeah. Well, normally I don't accommodate more than 12.
So you accommodate 12, and you have parking for...
Well, those would be families. The families would all come in one car.
Because I believe, Susan, correct me if I'm wrong, how many parking spots is she required to have?
If she has 5 rooms, then she's required to have 7. So there's 1 for each room, and then 2 for the owner. But because she's illegally nonconforming, she has 3 in the front, and then she uses whatever street parking is available close to her property.
Okay.
That's
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Do you plan on selling your property anytime soon?
Possibly. I have a buyer who wants to buy it, but he wants me to continue to run it. Now, for the last 2 years, my husband has been disabled, and I've had to go to Little Rock a lot more, so I have not had as many guests as I normally do. But, man, I had no idea this was going to be an inquisition.
If you had guests at Halloween,
Harry, can you raise your hand? We have several people with their hands up.
Everybody else, please.
Mr. McClung?
Yes, Ms. Rogers. Have you been filing your monthly forms with the CAPC?
Yes.
Even when you were not active? Now that they require that, and the state requires that you file them every month as long as your license is active.
I was unaware that if you didn't have somebody there, you had to file a form anyway with a 0 on it.
That's always been that way.
No one had. I'm telling you, no one had ever
Well,
explained to me.
you've been in business a long time.
Yes, I know.
So, I mean, some of the stuff someone should have sent you a letter and said, hey, you're not filing, what's the deal?
I could not agree more. But
The CAPC does that. They have always, when someone's not filing their forms for taxes, after so many months, they send out notices, hey, where are you? You're not sending it in. So,
I usually take it down there.
well, I understand you may take it down there, but if you weren't filing them, They should have contacted you. And I would say they probably sent you a letter and said, where are your monthly forms if you're...
Okay. I really don't know about that, but I filed. They have they've got my stuff down there.
Every month?
Yes, sir.
For every month that you were open?
Yes, sir. I think so.
Even though you weren't renting rooms, your license is active. And the state requires that too, that if your license is active, you're supposed to, fill out the forms, because you end up on tax delinquencies, with Department of Finance Administration if you don't.
I'm sorry, I did not know that. I mean, I have filed every month when I had somebody there.
Yeah, when you had somebody there, but that's not good enough.
Well,
Mr. Almazino?
Yeah, just a few things. The CAPC form that you submit taxes on, it's actually written on the form. You must even present this every single month, even if there have been no rentals.
I'm sorry, you're asking that again.
It's not a question. I'm just making a statement that on the tax form for CAPC, it specifically states, even if you've had no rentals or business, you still claim a zero and send that form in. It's been that way for a very long time. So just that you didn't know doesn't sit well with me because it's actually written on the form. And according to the CAPC, the last time you filed was September 7th. So there have been no forms submitted since that date. And my second, I'm really hesitant about this appeal. I'm really hesitant about this appeal because you just stated that you have a buyer that's interested, and now your foot is to the fire because you didn't do these things that should have been done, but you want them done for your buyer in order to maintain that status.
I filed in October and November both, too. Did you say that there's not a record of it?
The last one is for September of this year.
Yes, sir. I filed in October and I filed in November.
Do they keep copies?
And I tell you what,
Do they get copies of those?
I think I have a receipt for what I paid.
I mean, I'm just telling you what CAPC has said. Your last filing was in September of 2024.
Mr. Holyfield?
So it appears to me that it looks like we're looking for a certificate of occupancy, which we're told that she doesn't have, but she says she does have. We're looking for the CAPC information being filed, and she says she's done it, but they said that she hasn't done it. So it's like, is it, they say and she says kind of thing? Should we, I suggest we postpone this 30 days to give her a chance to produce her paperwork.
Or make a
get it
motion.
straightened out. I make a motion we postpone this for 30 days to give her a chance to produce her paperwork.
And I turned this certificate of occupancy in.
Okay. So I'm going to ask for a motion to suspend this for 30 days for you to get all your paperwork straightened out, and that'll be it. After that, there's no more.
Okay.
Susan?
Second. Okay, so she did get, you got paperwork from the historic district to fix your little roof, is what Paul told me, the building inspector.
No, he came to inspect it to make sure.
Okay, so she really needs to get with Paul and make sure. So you've met Paul, right?
Yes, and I worked through his office, through Paul's office, to get the certificate of occupancy and the permit for having the work done.
So you'll need to get back with Paul and Jess. You talked to them, right? And then what they're saying is they're going to give you 30 days to have Paul and you get together. He's going to come inside. He's going to inspect your house inside. And he may have the fire department with him also, because they do inspections too.
That's fine. Yep.
Okay. So they're going to give you 30 days to go ahead and get that done. So they're postponing this until, what's the next date of your meeting?
Next one will be in January. But you'll also need your CAPC receipts.
And what did you say about the roof?
Nothing about roof.
Nothing about the roof. Yeah. Don't worry
See,
about it.
all we need is the building inspector's report, certificate of occupancy, and your CAPC receipts.
January.
You said you
January
filed in
13th.
October and November.
January
Okay,
13th will
I've
be
got
our
copies
meeting.
of those at home, but
Okay, well, you just bring those and bring them down to my office.
Terry said that their meeting is on the 13th of January, so you need to have all that done by the 13th of January.
So I've made a motion.
It's got a motion, yeah. Are you going to discuss the motion?
I just wanted to tell her one thing real quick, and that is that if you have a bar, the ordinance that we just passed regarding bed and breakfast tonight, that because of the ownership, when it transfers, it has to be owner occupied. You can't manage it for somebody else. If you don't own it, you can't manage it.
oh no, I wouldn't.
Well, I'm just telling you that. You were saying that you had somebody that was interested in it, but then you and operate, but.
He's interested in me doing breakfast and greeting and making the rest.
All right, we've got a motion on the
Okay,
floor to
that's-
defer this
just wanted to make that.
to our next meeting. So all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so moved. All right. If you don't understand what we're saying, call my office in the morning, we'll get it taken care of.
Okay.
Or tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Aaron.
Mayor, can I interrupt for just a minute and ask if you all would like to ask any of the hospital speakers any additional questions tonight? Because these people may go home.
No, I mean, y'all are free to go. Yeah.
All
There's
right.
nothing. Yeah.
All right. Thank you
Done
very
with
much.
Public comments, you bet. Thank you all. Our next item of business is resolution to authorize temporary entertainment district for New Year's Eve. Get a motion to discuss.
Motion to discuss the temporary
Second.
entertainment district.
right.
Look at that.
Well, this goes right along with, and I think, Damon, are you here? Yeah. Goes along with the confetti and the teardrop and the water drop, I should say, water drop.
For New Year's Eve, yeah.
As far as that. And the temporary district is basically auditorium to the Grand Central, Spring Street to the Funnel Cake, up to Pendergrass Corner, Center Street from Spring Street to Mountain Street.
Correct.
And y'all provide signs, and this is from 8 p.m. Tuesday, December 31st until Wednesday at 1 o'clock.
Correct. Three maps throughout the district will have signs at all ends that say no alcohol beyond this point.
All right. Mr. McClung?
I'd like to make a motion that we assign this resolution number and read it for passage.
Second.
All right, discussion? All right, hearing none? Signify, let's,
I will say one thing, I'm sorry. I'm all for the entertainment district and for what it brings, but how do I say this? There has been some discussion, let me ask this, are all the business owners of these locations part of your committee meetings?
I would, not part of the committee meetings. I personally called each business owner to make sure that they're clear about the entertainment district and what the dynamics are, yellow wristbands, et cetera. So yes, there have been discussions. They're aware of it.
And they're all clearly aware of how this works, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. So much so, I think, let me just put the elephant in the room. I think there could have been more discussions earlier on so that they understood the logistics of how this was all going to go down. Obviously, New Year's Eve is a rising tide to get a large group of people into Eureka Springs. There's obviously some navigational issues between having an entertainment district, having entertainment in the park, knowing when people are going to be going from bar to bar. So that has been a topic between the bar owners, and I think we probably could have had a meeting early on in this. It didn't happen, but they are well aware of it now. And all the bar owners that I've talked to are for a rising tide overall.
Mr. Moyer, you have something to add?
There is a communication document. Any individual that has an ABC license that's adjacent to the district can absolutely participate. Caitlin in the CAPC office has the rules and the full instruction document, and Damon is the liaison to participate with the entertainment district. So that information has been communicated a couple of different ways, but maybe today also says if you are adjacent to the entertainment district, you absolutely can, and we encourage you to participate.
All right, any further discussion, questions? All right, call for a vote.
Harry Meyer,
Yeah.
David Avanzino,
Yes.
Steve Holofield,
Yes.
Susan Gerning,
Yes.
Terry McClung,
Yeah.
Autumn Slane.
Yes.
Thank you, Harry.
You have a reputation, Harry.
That was a unanimous vote.
Yes, it was.
That's right, we're all shocked.
Okay, we got something
Sorry.
else. Let's move right along here.
Assigning resolution number 876, a resolution to authorize a temporary entertainment district and establishing standards for its operation for Eureka Springs New Year's Eve. Whereas prior ordinances of the City of Eureka Springs allow the creation and governance of temporary entertainment districts, and whereas application has been made for a temporary entertainment district to be granted, and whereas the mayor and required department heads of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas have reviewed the application and found it appropriate to forward for City Council consideration, and whereas the City Council of the City of Eureka Springs has made a comprehensive study of the application and its request. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, Section 1, Purpose and Intent. The purpose of the entertainment district is to promote hospitality and tourism within the city and to highlight restaurant, nightlife, entertainment, and hospitality options for tourists. Section 2, Location. The temporary entertainment district shall be located in downtown Eureka Springs, Main Street from the auditorium to the Grand Central Hotel, Spring Street from the funnel cake stand to the stairs of Pendergrass Corner, Center Street from Spring Street to Mountain Street. Sorry. Section 3, dates and times hereby permitted are Tuesday, December 31st, 2024 from 8 p.m. till Wednesday, January 1st, 2025 at 1 a.m. Section 4, identification of participants. Those persons who wish to possess or consume from an open alcoholic beverage container within the district or enter the district from an beverage permitted establishment with an open container shall first obtain a wristband that says Eureka Springs Entertainment District. Approved beverage containers will be any non-glass container with a capacity of less than 24 fluid ounces. Section 5, permitted sound. Live amplified sound, including music, shall be permitted under the following restrictions. A, music produced by the CAPC can only be performed and or played from the hours of 9 p.m. to 12 p.m. in the Basin Park. B, sound produced shall not exceed 85 decibel. 1-day amplified sound permit of $25 is to be paid. Section 6, application state and local laws. All laws and ordinances not addressed herein shall remain in full force and effect. Section 7, removal of alcoholic beverage from the district by participants. It shall be unlawful for any person to remove an open alcoholic beverage container from any entertainment district. All unfinished quantities of alcoholic beverage must be properly disposed of prior to the participants leaving the temporary entertainment district. Section 8, Police and Fire Authority. Nothing in this resolution prevents the Chief of the Eureka Springs Police Department or the Chief of the Eureka Springs Fire Department from suspending the operation hours of any entertainment district necessary to comply with local, state, or federal law or fire codes if necessary to protect the public health, safety, and welfare. That's it.
All right, thank you all. All right, that brings us up to our next item of business, item number 3, resolution for 2023 cleanup budget.
Motion to discuss.
Second.
This is our budget that we clean up every year and use to get everything balanced in through there. I don't know if anybody has any questions or not. Mr. McClung?
No, but I'd like to make a motion. We assign this resolution number and read it for passage.
All right. Mr. McClung made the motion. Mr. Avanzino seconded to assign this resolution a number and read for passage. Call for roll call.
David Avanzino,
Yes.
Steve Holofield,
Yes.
Harry Meyer,
Yes.
Autumn Slane,
Yes.
Susan Gurneen,
Yes.
Terry McClung.
Yes.
Assigning resolution number 877, a resolution amending the 2023 adopted budgets for the city of Eureka Springs, Arkansas for the year 2023, appropriating money for each and every item of expenditure therein and for other purposes. Whereas the City Council of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas has determined that it is in the best of the interest of the city to amend the adopted budgets of the city, and whereas certain anticipated revenues and expenditures did not occur as previously budgeted, now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, that Section 1, this resolution shall be known as the Cleanup Amended Budget Resolution for the City of Eureka Springs for the year 2023. And the attached 2023 budget documents present the actual revenues, expenditures, and appropriation adjustments for the period. Section 2, the amounts of each expenditure classification in the amended budget are hereby approved by the City Council of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas. They are hereby authorized and appropriated for the purposes set forth for the calendar year ending December 31st, 2023. Revenues for 2023. Non-departmental 2023 amended budget, $8,250 with a $583 increase with a $7,667 balance. And general fund, $6,293,661 for the 2023 amended budget, the $138,985 increase. Decrease. $6,154,676 balance. Street fund, $1,348,225 with a $217,801 decrease, $1,130,424 balance. Lot fee, $463,500 amended budget with an $11,082 decrease, $452,418 balance. Capital fund, $427,201 amended budget, $24,189 decrease, $403,012 balance. Debt service, $1,638,372 amended budget, an increase of $39,868 with a balance of $1,678,240. Capital project fund, $1,030,339 amended budget, the $950,956 decrease, $79,383. Admin of Justice, 2023 amended budget, $0, $99,512 increase, $99,512 balance. Court automation, $11,225 amended budget, $304 decrease, $10,921 balance. Fireman's pension, $109,500 amended budget, $1,549 increase, $111,049. Water and sewer fund, $2,118,000 for amended budget, $380,366 increase, $2,498,366 balance. Transit Fund, $1,520,000 amended budget, $41,312 decrease, $1,478,688 balance. The total amended budget, $15,068,273, with the $863,917 decrease, $14,204,356 balance. Appropriations for 2023. General Fund, $1,998,700 amended budget, $225,747 decrease, $5,772,953 balance. Street Fund, $1,299,715 amended budget, $170,168 decrease, $1,129,547 balance. Lot fee, $462,600 amended budget, $118,128 decrease, $344,472. Capital Fund, $500,701 amended budget, $17,412 decrease, $483,289 balance. Debt service, $1,632,772 amended budget, $34,263 increase, $1,667,035 balance. Capital Project Fund, $1,030,339 amended budget, $950,956 decrease, $79,383 balance. Admin of Justice, 0 amended budget, $99,315 increase, $99,315 balance. Court Automation, $11,000 amended budget, $4,686 decrease, $6,314 balance. Fireman's Pension, $105,500 amended budget, $5,134 increase, $110,634 balance. Water and Sewer Fund, $2,088,291 amended budget, $373,591 increase, $2,461,889 balance. Transit Fund, $1,480,369 amended budget, $195,616 decrease, $1,284,753 balance. Total 2023 amended budget, $14,609,987, with a $1,170,402 decrease, $13,439,585 balance.
Thank you. All right, brings us up to our next item of business is a resolution for the reallocation of ARPA money.
Motion discuss.
This is money that we had, we reallocated. It was from the rescue plan that we had. Part of that went to, if you'll remember, back in 2022, we went and paid part of it for salaries increases. So, Mr. McClung.
I'd like to make a motion to sign this resolution to number and read it for passage.
Second.
All right. Any further discussion?
Yes.
Autumn Slane?
Yes.
Steve Holofield?
Yes.
Terry McClung?
Yes.
David Avanzino?
Yes.
Susan Gruning?
Yes.
Harry Meyer?
Yeah.
Assigning resolution number 878, a resolution amending the city's 2024 budget and ARPA grant budget to appropriate costs. Whereas the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, which was signed into law in March 2021, provides fiscal recovery funds to local governments, and whereas ARPA provides support to local governments in responding to the impact of COVID-19 and in addressing the economy and whereas ARPA created several eligible uses of the fund, ARPA created several eligible uses of the funding, including one to address lost revenue for cities and towns, and whereas the United States Department of Treasury on January 6, 2022, issued a final rule regarding the use of ARPA funds, and whereas the final rule permits cities and towns to utilize one of the statutorily eligible uses of the funds as lost revenue or revenue replacement up to a standard allowance of $10 million or the total amount of a city's grant award, whichever is less. And whereas the total grant award amount for Eureka Springs is less than $10 million, and whereas the final rule permits cities and towns to utilize lost revenue replacement for any government services. Whereas the city previously discussed allocating ARPA revenue replacement for utility relocation for a roundabout project, and whereas the American Rescue Plan requires that ARPA funds have to be legally obligated by December 31st, 2024, and in order to readily meet this deadline, the Eureka Springs will reallocate all remaining ARPA funds, $325,597, and instead allocating the funding for the payment of certain 2024 employees' salaries and employer payroll contributions. Now therefore be it resolved by by Eureka Springs City Council that Section 1, the city hereby appropriates $325,597.22 from the city's ARPA funding to be used as reimbursement to the city's 2024 water and water sewer fund revenues for the cost of 2024 part-time and full-time salaries other than elected officials or federally paid employees and employer payroll expenses, including but not limited to FICA, lot fee, pension, and other applicable health, dental, vision, insurance costs, beginning on January 1st, 2024, and running until the total amount is expended. The employee expenses have been paid out of the water and water sewer fund. This has the effect of lowering the 2024 water and water sewer fund budgets in the total amount of $325,597.22, and raising the ARPA grant fund budget in the same amount. Section 2, on the mandatory annual ARPA reports, the ARPA expenses shall be all reported under the expenditure category number 6.1 entitled Revenue Replacement, Provision of Government Services.
All right, thank you. Okay, next item of business is ordinance amending the municipal code regarding peddlers and solicitors. Motion to discuss.
Move we discuss.
Second.
All right. We discovered, or it's actually the city clerk discovered, we currently make it illegal to have door-to-door or city peddling inside the city limits, home solicitation, and we found out that we can't do that. So that's what this is for.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, is there anything pressing on this item?
Not really, not that I know of.
I would like to make a motion we postpone until the next meeting.
Yeah.
Second.
Got a motion to defer. Second?
Second.
All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next item is a food truck lottery, which we do need to do, but I don't think.
Motion to discuss.
That's going to be quick.
Second.
All right. Madam Clerk?
Okay, so we have 5 total food trucks. There was no lottery process since all of the spots were not filled. The first one is in Area A, Main Street, Eureka Springs Ice House LLC on 290 North Main Street. Eureka Springs Community Center Foundation in designated Area D, 44 Kings Highway. Designated Area D, Nikki Griffith at 2100 East Van Buren. Travis Holloway at 64 Center Street, and that is designated Area B. And designated Area D, CTC Holdings LLC at 132 East Van Buren.
Is Ice House a new food truck?
It's a new one.
And are they going to be like on the property? Is that property still safe? I guess that's my question.
It's the parking lot by the music park.
Okay.
All right. So what do we need? Do we need to do anything on this? Or is it just?
I just need a vote to approve the lottery.
Okay,
Oh,
get a
you need an
motion to
approval?
approve.
That's what we did last year. I don't-
Motion to approve the lottery selection.
Yes, second.
All right, Mr. McClung made the motion to approve the food truck lottery, and Mr. Myers seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that concludes our deal. Anybody got anything for the agenda? I'm sure you'll let me know. All right, Mr. McClung, final comments?
Good night. I said good night.
Good night. Mr. Meyer?
I'm glad it's over.
Ms. Slane?
Well, this is my last meeting,
that's
so
right.
it's a little bittersweet. I'll miss you guys, but I'm also going to have a lot of fun without you.
I'm sure you will.
Just saying. I just want to address one more thing. I think it's a significant thing that we faced at this table for as long as I've been here. I feel like it's the lack of dialogue. We're not allowed to speak off of this table, so it has to happen here. As I mentioned even earlier tonight, we have to have these reports from the commissions. I don't care if you don't make a decision on it, but it's going to help process your budget and even just keep everybody accountable. At this juncture, I think it's up to you guys now to determine what is a job well done. And I urge you to really consider a city manager and to guide us through professionalism and ever-changing infrastructure that we experience in our historic city. I wish you guys the best, and I'll see you at the mayoral election.
Thank you, Autumn.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Yes, I just want to, I guess, publicly call for the resignation of the acting CEO and CFO of Eureka Springs Hospital, and that's my opinion based on the amazing amount of complaints that I've gotten about working in a hostile work environment. And I want to thank EMS again. I did it in the budget, but I want to do it now. Thank them for saving my mom's life, essentially. And good luck, Autumn.
Thank you.
We'll still see you around.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure I'll still be at that podium right there. Harassing you still.
CAPC's next workshop is December 19th, 4 p.m. I think it's about the budget, wasn't it? Yeah. And then our regular meeting's at 6 p.m. I am very proud to announce the CAPC does not pay for the tourist guide. That was wildly accused at our last meeting a month ago that we were breaking the law by paying for the tourist guide. The CAPC does not pay for the tourist guide. There was an email went out encouraging businesses to put their business in the guide, contact the chamber to do that. So I was pretty sure that night that was true, and I double checked it. The CAPC does not pay for the tourist guide. And goodbye, Autumn. It was nice seeing you over there across the room.
Right? You'll be staring at somebody
We'll
else.
see you around town, I'm sure. And I hope everybody have a great Christmas.
Last but not least,
Ms. Greener?
so I don't know if anybody walked around town for Thanksgiving, but it seemed to be pretty bustling. The weather was great. Seemed everyone had a lot of fun. The Christmas parade, there was a lot of people. I think it went over pretty well. I am borderline about the Kent Turner, or the guy, the commissioner for the hospital. He did resign, but I kind of, when you listen to what the folks say, or said. I don't know who's replacing him. I don't know how he got replaced. But I hope that it's a wake-up call for this person to come in and shake things up and make it a better environment for everybody. With that, thank you, Autumn, for serving.
Thank you.
I hope I last as long as you.
You can do it.
And I want to wish also everybody to have a happy holiday. And maybe, no, I'm just kidding.
First of all, I
everyone's
want
outta
to
here.
thank you, Autumn, for your service for the last 4 years on that. Appreciate everything. I'm going to make this real quick. We do have a lot of things going on. John Two Hawks is going to be in the auditorium December 12th. Home for the Holidays, December 13th. We got the Living Windows, which if you haven't seen, it's December 14th from 5 to 7. One of my favorite is the Arkansas Highland Brass Band, which will be December 15th. So we got something 13th, 14th, and 15th here in the auditorium. Jeep Parade, Jingling Jeep Parade will be the 21st at 6 p.m. They said, and then, of course, our New Year's Eve celebration with the water drop and everything down at the Basin Park. And at the stroke of midnight, should be interesting to see this iconic water drop honoring the town's springs as it lands into the Ozarka water bucket and ends with a big splash to kick off our new year. And with that, I wish everybody a happy holidays and be safe and have a good Christmas. Take a motion to adjourn.
So
Move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.